Well, how have you all been doing? This is Michael here from M&M Model Railways. So I'm the first half of the M and my wife's the second half of the M. That's why we call it M&M Model Railways. And as you can tell, we're looking at my train layout. It's been a while since I made a actual how-to video or how I'm doing a step. A lot of things have changed since we've last spoke or actually did something on our layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the camera and I'm going to show you what's going on here. We're going to do that right after these messages. Well, I think this is probably the best way to show you what's going on. As you can see, we have our track basically together. We have the road completed over here. And if you watch some of my past videos, you know that I have an old era of a truck there and a new era of a car there. These are lighted cars. That means they're a plug-and-play system and they'll light up. So these are the newer cars. They come in a little package and you feed the wires down through there. These are some of the older style. So I figure in my area here, I'm going to do one new era car and one older era of a car. So what's been going on is we had to order the water resin to finish the water in this area here. Then we'll finish the highlights in this river. I've got that right over there, that water pour. Then we'll put the waves in there, and then we'll put the white water in there. Then we'll get that done. I'm going to put two of these newer ear light up cars. You can see, maybe you can see a couple of the cars that are not lit up. They're underneath there. But I thought, what a cool display if we're doing a night scene and we've got a car that's got the tail lights reflected over here and the headlights are reflected coming this way. So tail lights, headlights, and then tail lights and headlights. I think that would be cool, and that would accent under this bridge area. So a couple of things that I've been working on is I've been working on my switch area here. And as you can tell, we have double main here, and then we come into, this is a double, but these are single. And I used to have this layout a little bit differently. I used to have, so it would, used to have, hold on a minute, let me pull this camera back. You're not seeing what I'm looking at. Get in a tendency to do things without making sure that you're watching. So anyway, I had this crossover for this siding. I had it more over here because I wanted to put this crossover more into here, but it wouldn't work with my trains coming off of my siding to pick up my cattle or my passenger cars that'll be back there. It kept derailing the locomotive. It kept making big mistakes. So I put the crossover on this side and it helped a great deal. Well, that made my irrigation ditch and my drainage ditches back to what I originally designed. So as you can tell, all of this is the plaster that I had to fix to pour in that area that was there. And so I moved this back, and so now I'm going to use some plaster cloth and go over the top of this to make it look like it's an irrigation ditch, and it's going down to irrigate the water that way. Then I found some little pieces of wire that I'm going to cut, and they'll be a little bit longer, but they'll go down in the water, and I'll paint them the aluminum color or the light gray that I have, and that'll make it look like the farmer's irrigating. And then I'll have a one-lane road coming through here, so I'll be able to come right off the highway into a gated area, and this guy will be able to drive up here and take care of his water, or come over here to fish. There's a fishing guy sitting right here. So, and then he'll be able to back up in this area and then pull back out and go over here. Hold on. Well, that was the phone ringing, and had to shut it off. And then the wife walks through the door and answers the person that was on the phone. And it's been pretty tough around here on the M&M house here lately. But anyway, back to what I was telling you. I'm fixing to take some plaster cloth and build this area right here. This little piece of tubing is a culvert that I'm going to come right off the top of the road here and have a little access into the hayfield. There'll be a fence that'll come around this, and then it'll come all the way. There'll be another gate here, and then the fence will follow this pattern here and then come up to here, and then probably come back in here or something. But this will all be part of the irrigation area in the hayfield. Another thing I've been working on is I've got all my switches in place. The switches take a Cato, that's a switch wire, so you have to have a big hole to drill through the foam, and you can't pull from that little adapter right there or you'll break that. That goes into the switch. So you have to have something that this will go down in through, because here on the fascia is where those switch controllers are going to be once I get that done. And then because we're going to make this DCC, we have to have wire feeders underneath about every 5 feet. So I have wire feeders underneath this over here on this side. And then I'm putting 2 wire feeders here, and that'll help me to have power hooked to my buzz bar from here and over there. And then when I start building it that way, we'll have more of these wires hooked up to there. But we also have to put wires, these wire feeders underneath our switches, because if we throw the switch one way and it's not hooked to the power line, our locomotives won't run to come out of there. So I want to be able to have power by themselves in my switching operation. So we've got to put wires underneath the track before we can glue the track down. So there's a lot of things going on, and I wanted to show you on camera how I'm going to put these underneath my track, and also how I put these underneath my track. That might be in another video. But what I want to do is I want to kind of get this area done, because we've got our water resin now here, and then I'm going to pour water in here when I get ready to pour this. But I'm going to order some murky dye for the water resin so I can fill this in, and then the water will come out over here and it'll be kind of murky, and then it'll mix in with some blue and go back over there. We'll figure all that out as it comes. But like I said, it's been a while since I actually did a how-to video, and there's a lot of little intricate detailed things that I've got going on here. So let's go ahead and mix up some, get some water going, and we'll cut some of that plaster cloth, and we'll go ahead and fill this in right here on camera, and you'll be able to watch me do that. And then maybe we can get these lines cut in. I'll show you how all that works. So give me a few minutes to get prepared, and I'll be right back. Well, I got some water in one of my baking trays here, and you can just, after you get your plaster cloth, you can put it in a gallon Ziploc bag. It'll help it to stay safe and keep it from getting wet. So this thing comes, I would say that's probably a foot wide, maybe 8 inches. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into a couple of manageable strips. I think I only need like 3 or 4 of them on there. So I'll go ahead and cut those up. And I don't really like working with the whole width of it, just because I'm working in such a small space. So this has got a rough side and this has got a smooth side. Put your rough side up on your layout. Go ahead and put that in your water. And then I'm just going to form it down into my ditch. And then rub it. We want this to look like it's going downhill. So I don't want to rub too much on the downward side of it, because I want it to, like I said, I want it to stretch out. Check out that picture that's on the screen right now. You see what I'm trying to duplicate here. Notice I said trying. Sometimes we just don't do what we say we're going to try, but nonetheless, you got the word there. I ordered some more sculpture mold because I'm going to be tackling that tunnel back there pretty quick. So I wanted to have that availability too. So like I said, this is now starting to flow back down into the field. So I'm going to cut some more strips and just put it on the other side and try not to work it too much down in there, because like I said, I want it to look like it's built up with dirt. Cut a little bit more. I'm just going to build it up, and then we'll be able to use this plaster cloth on another project, because I get tired of running out of materials when you're right in the middle of a project and then you don't have enough of the material, you know. So I like to have some of that stuff on hand. So again, I'm trying to build up the dirt side of it, and I'll paint all of this, but not until I make sure that it's sloping and angling the way I want it to go. Let's go ahead and do this last one in here. All right. Now, if you don't push too much down on that area, it will dry hard like that, and you'll still have your void in there that you're looking for. Like I said, I want to paint this concrete color, but I'm going to paint this side of it my dirt color. And when I get a little bit of sculpture mold in there, I'll try to sculpt it a little bit more. Like I said, that was just a piece of a plastic tubing that I put underneath there to create my ditch. So once I get this all textured and everything, it's going to look like this field is going down, and that's what I wanted it to do. And then, like I said, we'll be bringing our fence over this, and then the fence will come here. In case we got cattle or whatever, they won't run into the railroad tracks. And sometimes the farmer, he may put his cattle over here to let them graze. You know, you just never know what that will be like. I think I like that concept a little bit better. I think I'm going to put some of that right there, just because that road's a little going down. That's going to be a dirt road coming back in there. So I'm just going to cut some strips here and put where my road's coming in at, like so. Try to build up that void that's underneath my area here. When I get the plaster cloth, it'll be a lot easier, more helpful. Try not to cover up I got a little irrigation pipe down inside there. That's you know, like a culvert. So I don't want to cover that up. So I'll be putting some sculpting mold in here to make this come up just a little bit to make my road going that way. But I think I pretty much got that part done. That's what I wanted to do. So I'm liking that a lot. So I think what I'll do is we'll go ahead and wash up our hands and get ready to secure some of that track down. All right, what I'm going to do here is, being I've got my train and everything on the track, I think what I'm going to do is just start it up, and I'm going to put it on the back side because I'm going to pull all this out and put this track feeder in there. I'm also going to put this underneath for this switch right here, and it takes a long time to actually put those back on the track. And so let's just kind of watch this a little bit and let's get it up out of this yard. Now you see why I put this re-railer back in here. Okay, now we have no power because of the switch is going that way. That's why we got to put power links over there. Now watch, if I throw this switch, we should have power back. And I'll have to figure that out in a little bit. I decided to go ahead and take all the cars off and just run that locomotive to try to troubleshoot the power through here. You should be able to pull up there okay. I said I'll put a power feeder in through there. That's not hooked up. I just deadheaded it. I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to do that other side here in a minute. So now I can back him up in there because I haven't thrown the switch. Now watch what happens if I throw this switch. Now he's got no power at all back in there. So if I throw this switch, now he's got power. So I want to make sure that I've got power on this area, on this back area, and on that area. Let's show you again. Now you're seeing him, he's right back in here. Let me turn my camera a little bit. Now, I should be able to drive him out of there. Yeah, let me drive him out of there. Let me put him back in this other side. Now, if I throw this the other way, he's not going to have any power. See? There's no power back here. So you got to put power line back there. So if I go ahead and throw this switch again, now he's got power built in there. And that's why I put the re-railer on there, is because when he comes out of there, he can be back on a re-railed path. So now he's still got power. So now I can throw this switch and I can take him back into the cattle stockyard. Okay, let's go ahead and run him all the way around. Go ahead and shut him off over there because I'm not messing with that track. And because there's no actual shut off on this power pack, what I'm going to do is just unplug it. And when I get my DCC stuff, and I'm going to have a plug in, it's going to actually work on a light switch. It's going to be built into the fascia up here. So now what I want to do is I want to pull this track apart. And I brought my drill bits because I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with those. So it's easier to pull my track apart when I'm over here. Let me turn this camera back over here. Okay, now we unsnap this track here. We can rotate this a little bit. And then this one already has a power leads going to it, see? So this one doesn't. So this one here has two of the power leads there. So I hooked that up a while ago, and then I ordered some more of these parts. So what I do to find out where these go is I hook it back together So now it's hooked together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take and make a red X where I'm going to drill my hole at for that line feeder. And I'm going to pull it apart again, just so I have room to work with it. I'm going to leave those pieces on there because they're already connected. And this piece is not, okay? So this is going to hook to a buzz line, so I don't need to have this one end on here, okay? If I was going to hook this right to a Cato power pack, I would have to have this little white end on here, but I don't need that white end because I'm going to hook it to a buzz line, and I can't hook it to a buzz line with these on here the way that I want to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and take this loose. Come on, little wire tie. Sometimes my days get to be annoying. I don't know about yours, but so this is a Unitrack unit joiner. This joins power to your supply. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to straighten all this out because I don't know, how much is this I'm going to need. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this piece right off of here and just get up into that area. I won't be able to do that for the one that goes down on that switch, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. Okay, what I do is I use a piece of this plastic tube, and I drill my hole for that plastic tube, and I just thread my wires down through that plastic tube. And then the wires come through the other end. But I'm going to use a bit of a longer one. Okay, so now I got my wires sticking through there, because I cannot feed these wires down through 2 inches worth of with the foam and then still be able to get that piece out of there. So bring your drill bit and find one that barely allows that tube to go down through the hole that you're going to drill, and get your faithful little drill. I got my drill. I put it in there just so it holds it, and I know where I'm going to go because I marked it with that little red X. Remember that? So we got to be careful. Make sure you've got nothing underneath your table that you can run into, and let's just put a hole in there. And now I just hit the piece of plywood, so just keep going, and then you're punched all the way through your hole, and hopefully you didn't have anything nearby that you hit. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to string this, pull this back up out of here so I have no wire showing. I'm going to push this down through there. And you might have to work on getting it a little bit. And then this will come through there without any problems. So now I've got both ends of it here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to vacuum this space up. So I'm going to turn my camera off while I do that, and then I'll show you how I connect these back together. Okay, you see, it's better to show you on this. This is my re-rather unit. But you see that right there? That's the same thing that's on the end of this. So we don't need those on our stuff that we're working with. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back in there so I know what I'm doing. So that has to be on there. So I'm going to take the blue tool that comes with this, and I'm going to pull this off of here. Should be able to turn it upside down, grab a hold of it, and then it comes right out of there. So put that right up there. I also got to do the same thing with this one. Hook up to it, pull it out. Sometimes it's difficult. Disconnect this side so I can pull that up there a little bit. Still not. Okay, let me do it like this. Okay, you got to take it from the top and bend it down. Okay, now I'm going to take my feeder wires. Now you got to pay attention. I've got white on the outside rail, blue on the outside rail, white on the inside rail. We'll want to do the same thing so our loops are the same. So if we got white on this side of us, we want white on this side of us here. If we got blue on that side, we want blue on that side as well. So let's find out which is white, which is this one. We're going to go ahead and run that up in there. Going to put the blue, so the blue snaps up in there. We're going to make sure that our things are all cramped together. We're going to go ahead and put this one in here. This is going to pull down. Make sure that your wire collars are on the same feed side. And then snap them in there. Make sure you got your couplers in them where they go. So I'm going to go down here and pull these down. I'm going to snap this in here first. Well, I've got some play here. And pull them down all the way if you want. Go ahead and snap that one in place. We'll snap this one in place. Now they're all snapped in there. Okay, now take the slack out, make sure they're laying flat, make sure that they're not bulged there. We should be able to turn our supply back on and have power running again. With this wire down here, I'm not even going to crimp them ends. I'm just going to take in fold my wire up like this. I'll be right back. Alright, I want to show you what my buzz line is going to be made out of. It's going to be made out of white and blue. This is 14 gauge solid strand. I'm going to be using suitcase clamps to clamp those pieces that I just showed you. So that's it for now. I'm going to show you how I'm going to insert this down into the foam and still be able to keep this part underneath it. Coming up soon.